I stood by the grave and felt nothing. The cold air touched my face, but my heart stayed numb. I looked at the sunrise and tried to breathe. The light was soft, but it hurt my eyes. I said, "I can't believe this, Mara." My voice shook. My sister Lena stood near me. She held my arm and said, "I'm here. You're not alone." I heard her words, but they felt far away. I kept staring at the grave. The soil looked fresh, dark, and heavy. It felt wrong. I said, "She was alive yesterday." Lena said, "You need rest." I shook my head. A small group stood behind us. Most people stayed quiet. Only the priest spoke. His voice was low. I heard the words, but they slipped past me like wind. I looked down again. I whispered, "Why did this happen?" My hands felt cold. Lena touched my shoulder. "Let's go home after this," she said. I nodded, but it felt like my head moved on its own. After the prayer, Mrs. Halton, our old neighbor, walked to me. Her hands shook as she held mine. "Daniel," she said, "I saw someone near your door last night. Someone tall." I felt a small sting in my chest. "It was nothing," I said. "You saw the wrong thing." She frowned. "I know what I saw." I pulled my hand away. "I don't want to talk about it." She sighed and stepped back. I closed my eyes. I saw the hospital again. I had walked in with hope. I had run through the cold hall, calling her name. A nurse stopped me. She said, "Sir, please calm down." I pushed past her. I needed to see Mara. Then Dr. Grace came out from a room. His face looked tired. He said my name slowly. "Daniel," he said, "I'm sorry." I felt the floor move. "No," I said, "you're wrong." He lowered his head. "She didn't make it." I heard the words, but my mind refused them. I grabbed his coat. "Help her," I said. "Try again." He whispered. There was nothing more we could do. His eyes looked strange, like he wanted to say something else, but he said nothing. I opened my eyes again at the grave. I felt a burn in my throat. "Why, Mara?" I whispered. "Why did you leave me?" Lena squeezed my arm. "Let's go," she said. "You need food." I nodded again. People walked away. Some looked at me with pity. Some looked scared. Maybe they saw the pain on my face. Maybe they saw the fear in my eyes. When we reached the car, Lena said, "Do you want me to stay with you tonight?" I said, "No. I want to be alone." She frowned. "Are you sure?" I nodded. "I need time." She hugged me. I felt her warmth, but it didn't reach my heart. The ride home felt slow. Every road looked empty. Every house looked cold. I saw my own house from a distance. The windows looked dark. The yard felt dead. When Lena stopped the car, she touched my hand. "Call me if you need help," she said. I said, "I will," but I knew I would not. I walked to the door. My legs felt heavy. I opened it slowly. The air inside smelled like our home-warm tea, old books, and her perfume. My chest tightened. I whispered, "I miss you." I sat on the couch and put my face in my hands. My tears came fast. "I need you, Mara," I said. "Please come back. I can't do this alone." The house stayed quiet. I listened for her steps. I listened for her soft voice, but there was only silence. I thought about her last words to me. She had said, "I'll be fine. Don't worry." I had believed her. Now those words felt like a lie. I walked to the kitchen. I touched her cup on the counter. I touched the chair where she used to sit. I said, I will keep every promise. I will keep every memory. My voice broke again. I walked to the bedroom. I sat on the bed. Her pillow still held her scent. I pressed my face into it and said, come home to me. My hands shook. My heart felt broken. I lay back and stared at the ceiling. Time felt slow. The pain grew heavy. The sun started to set. The orange light filled the room. I stood up and walked to the window. I said softly, Mara, if you can hear me, please come back. My voice trembled. The room grew darker. I took a deep breath. I need courage, I said. I need truth. I need hope. I pressed my hand against the cold glass. I whispered, come home. The silence felt endless. Then something in the air changed. I felt a soft chill move through the room. I heard a faint sound behind me. A door, a step. I turned slowly. My breath froze. A shadow moved in the hallway. Light from the sunset touched the floor. I took one step forward. The shadow grew clearer. My heart raced. I whispered, Mara. The shadow stopped. Then I heard a voice. Soft, familiar, broken. Daniel, I'm home. I felt my knees weaken. My head spun. I said, this can't be real. She stepped closer. The light touched her face. It was her. She looked pale, tired, but alive. Mara, I said, I buried you. She shook her head. I know what you saw, she said, but I'm here now. I reached for her hand. She held mine, warm and real. The world moved under my feet. She said, we need to talk. I held her hand and said, tell me everything. I need the truth. She looked at the floor. Not yet, she said. You are tired. Your mind is weak. I don't want to hurt you more. Her words made my chest tighten. You already hurt me, I said. You died in front of me. I saw your face. I saw the truth in that hospital. Mara shook her head. You saw a truth, but not the real one. I stepped back. Don't speak in circles. I need clear words. I buried you this morning. I saw blood. I signed papers. She closed her eyes. I know. I'm sorry. I walked to the table and sat down. My hands would not stay still. Sit with me, I said. She came slowly and took the chair across from me. Her eyes looked sad. I wanted to come home sooner, she said, but I could not. I asked, why not? She bit her lip. Danger, she whispered. A warning. A promise I had to keep. I leaned closer. What danger? Who warned you? She shook her head again. Not tonight. I felt anger rise inside me. I can't wait, I said. I lived with fear. I lived with broken memories. Tell me now. Mara touched my hand. Please, she said, give me one night. Let me stay. Let me breathe. Her voice trembled. I stood up and walked around the room. This doesn't feel real, I said. I feel fear in my own home. She whispered. I came back because I love you. I turned to her. Love needs truth, I said. Love needs courage. She nodded. I know. I will try tomorrow. I sighed. Fine. But don't leave again. She said. I won't. I walked to the window again. The sky was dark now. A soft wind moved the curtains. Mara stood behind me. She said, can I stay in the bedroom? I said, yes. It's your home. We walked together. I opened the door and let her in. She sat on the bed and looked at her hands. Did they give you my things? She asked. I said, no. They kept everything. Her eyes darkened. I see. I sat beside her. Mara, I said, I saw pain in your eyes. I saw fear. I need to know who hurt you. She whispered. Someone close. I felt a sting in my chest. Who? I asked. She looked at me with tears. Please. She said, tomorrow. I took a deep breath. Okay. But you promise? She nodded. I promise. I said. You never break a promise. She lowered her eyes. Not before, she said. But things changed. We lay down on the bed. She stayed on her side. I stayed on mine. I could hear her breath. I could hear her quiet sobs. I said, I will help you. She said, I know. I stared at the wall and said, I need hope. She whispered, you still have me. My throat burned. For now, I said. She reached out and touched my hand. For as long as I can stay, she said. Her hand was warm, but her words felt cold. I closed my eyes, but sleep did not come. My mind played every memory. Our first day together, our last fight, her smile, her silence, her lie, the hospital smell, the paper I signed, the cold truth. I opened my eyes in the dark. Mara whispered, are you awake? I said, yes, she said. Thank you for letting me come home. I said, you belong here. She whispered, I hope so. We stayed silent. The night felt heavy. The house felt strange. I felt danger in the air. I held her hand and said, tomorrow. You tell me everything, she said. Yes, tomorrow. I felt my heart twist. I whispered, don't leave again. She said, I won't, not tonight. I lay awake and waited for sunrise. Chapter 2. She stood in the kitchen like nothing happened. I opened the door slowly. The house felt cold and still. I stepped inside and placed my hand on the wall. I needed the support. My legs were weak from the long day, from the pain, from the silence inside my own chest. The smell of home hit me, coffee, dust, and old wood. I took one more step and whispered my wife's name. I said it softly, like a small prayer. I did not expect an answer. I buried her at sunrise. She was gone. She was dead. I saw the grave. I saw the tears. I saw the blood. I saw the hospital papers. But then I looked up. She stood in the kitchen like nothing happened. I froze in the hallway. My heart stopped. My breath caught. She was barefoot. Her hair fell over her shoulders. Her skin looked pale but warm. She held a glass of water in her hand, and the glass shook because her fingers shook. She looked at me with quiet fear. I whispered, Mara. She blinked, and her lips parted. Daniel, is that you? Her voice was soft. It felt like a knife in my chest. I walked slowly toward her. My legs felt heavy. I could not think. I could not breathe. My fear mixed with hope, with shock, with something wild. I reached out my hand, but I stopped before I touched her. I needed to see if she was real. She looked at me with tired eyes. Why are you looking at me like that? I asked, where did you go? Why are you here? What is this? She frowned. What do you mean? I just came home. I needed water. I felt sick. My memory. I don't know. Everything feels strange. I shook my head. No, you don't understand. You were gone. I saw you in the hospital. They said you died. They said you left me. She stared at me in shock. The glass almost slipped from her hand. Daniel, I don't remember the hospital. I don't remember anything like that. I woke up on the road. I felt cold. I felt pain. Then I walked home. I stepped closer. You walked home? From where? When? Mara, you were dead. She said, please stop saying that. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm talking to you. I reached out and touched her cheek. Her skin was warm. Her breath was warm. She looked real. She felt real. Tears filled my eyes. My heart shook inside my chest. I wanted to hold her, but fear still sat inside me like a stone. I whispered, I buried you. She touched my hand. Daniel, I don't know what happened to me. I don't remember the night. I don't remember the road. I don't remember the last week. My head feels broken. My memory feels like smoke. I said, "You need help. We need answers." She nodded. "Please help me. Please don't leave me." I pulled her into my arms. Her body felt cold, thin, and weak. She held me tightly, like she needed me to stay standing. I felt her tears on my neck. I did not know if I should cry or run or scream. My wife came home after her own funeral. I whispered, "I'm here. I'm here." After a long moment, I stepped back and grabbed my phone. I called Dr. Grace. I needed truth. I needed someone to explain this nightmare. He picked up on the second ring. "Daniel." I said, "She's alive." Silence hit the line. Hard, sharp silence. I said louder, "She's here. Mara is here. She is in my kitchen." His voice cracked. "Daniel, don't let her out of your sight." My stomach twisted. "Why? Tell me why." He breathed fast, like he was afraid to speak. "Just listen to me. Stay close to her. Keep her calm. Do not let her leave the house. I will call you back." I said, "No, not later. Tell me now." But he ended the call. I stared at the phone in my hand. My fingers shook. Mara watched me with worried eyes. What did he say? I lied. Nothing. He just said he will help. She touched my arm. "Daniel, am I in danger?" I said, "I don't know, but I won't let anything happen to you." She nodded and leaned against me. Her body felt small and fragile. She looked around the kitchen like she was seeing it for the first time. She touched the counter. She touched the door. She touched the chair. She whispered, "Home. This is home. I remember home." I asked, "Do you remember anything else? Do you remember what happened to you?" She shook her head slowly. "I remember light. I remember cold. I remember fear. I remember someone calling my name. Then nothing." I asked, "Someone? Who? A man? A woman?" She pressed her fingers to her forehead. "I don't know. It hurts when I try to remember. My memory is broken." I led her to the couch. "Sit, rest." She sat down and pulled a blanket over her legs. She looked at me like she needed me to explain her own life. "Daniel, am I really alive?" I sat beside her. "Yes, you're here. That's all I know." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "I'm scared." I whispered, "Me too." The house felt heavy with silence. The light outside grew darker. I turned on a lamp. Its warm glow fell across her face. She looked tired, but safe. For a moment, I believed everything could be normal again. But then she said something that broke that hope. She asked, "Did anyone come to see me at the hospital?" Before I left, I froze. "Why do you ask?" She looked down. "Because I feel like someone was there. A man. I don't see his face. I just feel a voice. A warning. A promise." I felt a cold fear in my bones. "What promise?" She whispered. "He said he would come back." I took her hand. "No one is coming. You're safe with me." She nodded weakly and closed her eyes. Her breath slowed. I watched her sleep. I watched her chest rise and fall. I watched the woman I buried breathe again. I stayed awake for hours. Near midnight, she moved. She whispered something. I leaned close. Her lips parted. Her voice was low and soft. She said a name. Not mine. The name cut through the dark like a blade. It hit my heart. It filled my mind with fear and fire. I whispered, "Why that name?" But she slept on. I sat back in the chair and held my head in my hands. I needed air, but I did not want to leave her. The room felt tight, like it pushed against my chest. I tried to breathe slowly. I tried to stay calm. I kept hearing her voice saying that name. It broke something inside me. I whispered, I need courage. I need truth. The words felt small in the quiet room. I looked at her as she slept. Her hand moved a little, like she reached for something. I took it gently. Her fingers were cold, but her grip was strong. She whispered again. This time she said, don't open the door. I froze. Her eyes stayed closed, but her voice carried fear. I asked what she meant, but she did not answer. She fell deep into sleep, leaving me with her warning. I stood and checked the front door. The lock was tight. The windows were closed. Still, I felt danger in the air. I walked back to her and sat again. I watched her breathe. I felt my heart pound. I whispered, I will protect you. I promise. I leaned back and stared at the ceiling. My mind raced. Who did she see? Why did she fear the night? Why did she walk home after her own burial? Nothing made sense. But I knew one thing. The truth was coming, and it would not be gentle with either of us. I stayed awake and kept watching her. The lamp made a soft circle of light around her face, and I held on to that small warmth. My mind kept going back to the hospital, to the cold room, to the moment they told me she died. I remembered the silence after the doctor said the word gone. I remembered my tears. I remembered the grave. Now she was here, breathing in my house. I felt fear, but I also felt a strange hope. Maybe this was a second chance. Maybe this was a warning. Maybe both. I touched her hand again. I whispered, we will face this. Whatever comes, we will face it together. But deep inside, I knew the night was not finished with us. I stayed awake all night. Chapter 3. The Name That Broke Me. I lay in bed and stared at the dark ceiling. I kept hearing one word in my head. Elias. I heard Mara say his name in the night, soft and weak, like a broken voice. I tried to tell myself it was a dream, but it was not. I knew her voice. I knew her breath, and I knew that name. Elias was my friend for 20 years. He was closer than a brother. He was the man who held my arm at the funeral and said he would help me stay strong. Now I felt fear and anger pull at my chest. I kept asking myself why she said his name. I felt pain rise in me like slow fire. When the sun came up, I went to the kitchen. Mara stood by the stove. She made eggs and toast. She looked tired, but she tried to smile. I said her name. She looked at me with soft eyes and asked if I slept well. I said no. I watched her move around the kitchen. Her hands shook when she reached for a cup. She tried to hide it. I asked her how she felt. She said she felt fine, but I saw fear in her eyes. I saw silence in her voice. I said I wanted to talk about the hospital. She froze for 1 second. Then she said she did not want to talk about that place. She said the hospital made her think of cold lights and loud sounds. She said she did not remember much. I asked why. She said she did not know. She said her memory felt broken. I asked if someone heard her. She said no too fast. I sat down and looked at her face. I wanted the truth. I needed it. But she kept turning away from me. I asked about the night before she came home. She said she did not want to speak about it yet. She said she needed time. I felt a heavy weight in my chest. I tried to keep my voice calm. I said I needed to know if someone came to our house. She bit her lip and said she did not think so. But I did not believe her. I went out later to see Mrs. Halden. She lived 2 houses down. She was old and lonely, but she watched everything on our street. She opened the door and smiled at me. I asked if she could help me. She said yes and asked if I felt better after the funeral. I said no. I said something strange was happening at my home. I said I needed the truth. She told me she saw a man near my house the night before Mara died. She said the man walked up to my door. I asked if she knew who he was. She said she could not see his face well. She said it was too dark. She said he moved like he did not want to be seen. I asked if she heard him speak. She said no. I felt fear move through me like cold wind. I asked if he left fast. She nodded. She said he moved away from the house as if he was late for something. She said she wanted to tell me at the funeral, but did not want to cause more pain. I thanked her. She held my hand and said I should be careful. I felt a chill when she said it. I walked home slowly, thinking about Mara and that man. I kept hearing one name again. Elias. I did not want to believe it, but the thought kept coming back. When I returned home, Mara sat on the couch. She looked small and lost. I sat next to her and asked her if she was okay. She said she was fine, but her voice broke. I touched her hand. It felt cold. I asked her again about the night she came home. She said she went for a walk. I said I did not believe her. She looked at me with wet eyes. I said I heard her speak a name in the night. She looked away fast. I asked her to look at me. She wiped her tears and said her head felt strange. She said she heard voices in her sleep. She said she did not mean to say anything. I asked her what she remembered before the hospital. She said she saw a road, a door, and a man. She said the man said something about truth and danger. I asked who the man was. She shook her head. I felt my chest tighten. I asked her if she knew why she said Elias's name. She covered her face and cried. I moved closer and held her shoulders. I asked her again. She said she could not tell me. I felt something snap inside me. I said I needed the truth. She said she needed more time. She said she was scared. I asked of whom. She said she could not say. I said I could not help her if she kept hiding things. She took a deep breath. She looked at me with red eyes and whispered that there were things she could not tell me yet. She said the truth would hurt me. She said the truth might break me. I felt my heart break in that moment. I told her I needed her to trust me. She just cried harder. The house felt heavy with silence. I stood up and walked around the room. I felt lost and angry. I opened the window to get air. My hands shook. I looked back at her. She sat curled up on the couch, shaking. I wanted to hold her, but I also felt fear. I asked her if she was in danger. She nodded once, very slow. I asked who wanted to hurt her. She said she could not say his name. I felt cold all over. I asked if the man who came to the house was the same man she dreamed about. She said maybe. I asked if she remembered his voice. She said she did not. She said she only remembered fear. She said she felt trapped. I told her she was safe with me. She said she hoped so. Her words cut deep. I sat down again and held her hand. I said I wanted her to stay close to me. She nodded. I asked if she trusted me. She said yes, but her voice was weak. I asked if she trusted Elias. She tensed. That was all I needed to know. I felt anger rise again, slow and hard. I asked her if she spoke to him recently. She said no. I knew she lied. The room grew quiet again. I asked her why she kept secrets from me. She said she did not want to lose me. I said hiding the truth would hurt us more. She cried again and said she knew. She said she wanted to tell me everything, but her fear was bigger. I said fear always grows in silence. She said she would try to speak soon. I looked at the door and thought about the man Mrs. Halden saw. I thought about the road, the warning, the voice in Mara's dreams. I felt trapped between love and fear. I asked Mara if she needed help. She said yes, but did not know how to ask. I held her close. She shook in my arms. I said I would not stop until I knew the truth. She whispered that the truth might destroy my peace. I said I already lost it. She buried her face in my shoulder and cried again. I felt her tears on my skin. I held her tighter. The night grew darker. I turned off the light. I could hear her breath. I could hear my own heart. I closed my eyes but could not rest. The name came again to my mind. Elias. It felt like a wound that would not close. I knew I had to face him soon. I knew he held a piece of this story. Mara squeezed my hand as if she knew what I thought. I whispered to her that I would stay beside her. She whispered that she hoped I would not hate her. I said I would not. But inside, I feared the truth she held. I felt the road ahead turn into shadow. I felt danger near our door. I lay beside her in silence. I stayed awake for hours and watched the light move on the wall. My mind would not rest. I heard soft sounds outside the house, like steps on the road. I told myself it was only the wind, but fear stayed with me. I knew the night hid more than silence. Again. Chapter 4. My best friend's lie. I walked to the small cafe near the old road because I needed to see Elias. I needed truth. My head felt heavy from fear and memory. I pushed the cafe door and heard a soft bell ring above me. The smell of coffee filled my nose. Elias sat in the back corner and waved like nothing was wrong. I felt pain in my chest. I walked to him slowly. I sat down and looked at his eyes. He said, "You look tired, Daniel." I said, "I buried my wife today. How do you think I feel?" He nodded and looked at his cup. He said, "I know it was a hard morning." I leaned forward. I said, "Elias, she came home. Mara came home." He froze for 1 second. Then he smiled. He said, "Daniel, grief can make you see things." I felt heat rise in me. I said, "I saw her. She touched me. She spoke to me." He sipped his drink to slow. He said, "Sometimes the mind wants hope more than truth." I shook my head. I said, "Stop talking like that. You know her. You know me." He looked away. He said, "You should rest. You need time. Pain can play games." I felt fear. Something felt wrong. I watched his hands. They shook a little. I said, "Tell me what you know." He said, "I know you loved her." I said, "Loved? I still love her." He smiled again. It looked fake. He said, "People change, Daniel." I felt my heart hit my ribs. I said, "Why did you say that?" He did not answer right away. He said, "Life moves. You must move too." I said, "Elias." She said your name last night. He looked up fast. He said, "What did she say?" I said, "Why does it matter?" He looked angry for a moment. He said, "Daniel, you should not listen to dreams." I felt my throat close. I said, "She was awake." He said nothing. I said, "There's more. I know there's more." He tapped the table. He said, "Drop this. Go home. Rest." I said, "No. I want answers." He sighed. He said, "Mara told me you two fought." My heart stopped. I never said that to him. I said, "When did she tell you that?" He looked away again. He said, "A long time ago." I said, "No. Tell me the truth." He said, "Daniel, please. Do not do this to yourself." I stood up. My legs felt weak. I said, "I am done here." He grabbed my arm. He said, "Daniel, listen to me." I pulled my arm away. I said, "Stay away from me. Stay away from her." His eyes turned cold. He said, "Be careful what you say." I walked out fast. My breath felt thin. My mind spun like a broken wheel. Outside the cafe, the air felt sharp. I walked down the road toward home. My hands shook. My head hurt. I kept thinking about his slip. Mara told him something she never told me. It felt like a knife under my skin. When I reached the old bridge, a police car stopped near me. Noah stepped out. He waved at me. He said, Daniel, can we talk? I said, not now. I want to go home. He walked closer. He said, it is about your wife. My stomach dropped. I said, what about her? He looked around like he feared someone would hear. He said, her medical file was sealed. I frowned. I said, what does that mean? He said, someone with money and influence blocked it. I felt my chest burn. I said, why would someone do that? He said, I do not know, but I saw the name linked to the request. I said, say it. He said, Elias Hart. I felt the world tilt under me. I said, that makes no sense. Noah shook his head. He said, I think there's danger here. I think you need courage now. I took a deep breath. I said, thank you. I need to go. He nodded and stepped back. He said, call me if you see anything strange. I said, everything is strange already. I walked home fast. My legs felt weak. My mind felt broken. I kept hearing Mara say his name in the dark. I kept seeing Elias try to hide the truth in his calm voice. The road felt long. The sky felt heavy. My hands shook again. When I reached my house, the lights were off. The yard felt too quiet. I opened the door slowly. The air inside felt cold. I walked into the living room. Then I saw her. Mara sat by the window with her knees pulled to her chest. The moonlight touched her face. She did not look at me at first. She looked at the dark road outside. I said, Mara. She turned her head slowly. Her eyes looked tired. She said, you were gone long. I said, I needed to talk to Elias. She looked down at her hands. She said, did he help you? I shook my head. I said, he lied. She closed her eyes. She said, he always lies. I felt fear rise again. I said, Mara, what is going on? She did not answer. I walked closer and sat near her. I said, I need the truth. I need your voice. I need home to feel safe again. She shook her head slowly. She said, Daniel, you need to be careful. I said, why? She looked at me. Her eyes filled with tears. She said, because secrets have teeth. I felt a chill run through me. I said, tell me the truth. She said, not yet. I said, I cannot wait. She whispered, please. I touched her hand. It felt cold. I said, you came back from death. I saw blood on your shirt. I saw fear in your eyes. I need to know why. She pulled her hand away. She said, if I speak now, you will break. I felt anger and sadness mix. I said, I am already broken. She shook her head again. She said, no, not yet. She looked out the window again. She said, he will come soon. My heart stopped. I said, Elias? She said nothing. I said, Mara, you must trust me. She whispered, I do. But trust can burn. I felt the house breathe around us. The silence felt heavy. I said, we face this together. She wiped her eyes. She said, I hope so. I said, no hope. We must act. She said, not tonight. I said, then when? She said, when the door opens. I felt darkness move in my chest. I said, what door? She whispered, you will know. Chapter 5. The night she confessed just one truth. I woke to Mara's scream. Her voice cut the night. I jumped from the couch and ran to the bedroom. She sat up in the dark. Her hands shook. Her hair stuck to her face. She breathed fast like she ran a long road. I said her name, soft and slow. She looked at me with wide eyes. I saw fear. I felt it too. I went to her side and held her shoulders. Her skin felt cold like hospital tiles. She said, I saw him again. I asked who. She said she did not know. She said the night was broken in her mind. She spoke like every word hurt. I kept my hand on her back. I told her she was safe at home. She did not believe it. I saw it in her eyes. She leaned on me. Her tears hit my shirt. She said, I tried to run. I did not fall. I was not in an accident. I ran from someone. My chest pulled tight. I asked her who chased her. She shook her head. She said her memory was like a torn letter in the rain. She said there was only a voice in her mind, a warning, a door, a dark road. She said she heard someone say her name the night she died. She said she felt a hand on her arm. She said she woke in a cold room and then in the hospital. I asked why she did not tell me. She said she was scared I would break. She said she needed courage, but she lost it. She begged me to trust her. She held my hand like it was the last thing she had. My heart fought itself. I loved her. I feared her truth. I felt like blood moved slow in my veins. I said I would trust her. She cried harder when I said it. When she calmed, she leaned back on the bed. I saw a mark on her shoulder. It looked like long fingers pressed hard into her skin. I touched it. She winced. I asked who did that. She turned away and did not speak. My stomach twisted like someone tied a knot inside me. It did not look like a bruise from a fall. It looked like someone held her down. I felt anger rise, but fear rose with it. I walked to the kitchen to get water. My hands shook. I looked at the window. The night looked heavy. The house felt too quiet, too still. I felt like someone watched us from the road. My home did not feel like home. It felt like a place full of secrets. I felt tears start, but I wiped them fast. I needed to stay strong. I needed truth. I needed answers. When I came back to the bedroom, Mara slept. Her face looked soft like before all this pain. I kissed her head and walked to the couch. I sat down. I held my head with both hands. My mind felt full of smoke. I tried to think. I tried to understand her words. I tried to find truth in her voice. I asked myself if she had more. I asked myself if I still knew her. I asked if I could protect her when I did not even know what hunted her. A knock came at the door. I froze. I waited. It came again, soft but sharp. I stood up slow. I walked to the door and opened it a little. It was Lena. She looked worried. Her eyes went to my face fast. She asked why I looked pale. I told her Mara had a nightmare. She stepped inside. She moved with care, like the house was full of glass. She asked if Mara was all right. I said yes, but I knew it was a lie. She saw it in my eyes. Lena went to the kitchen and sat down. She said, Daniel, you look lost. I said I was fine. She shook her head. She said she lived with me too long to believe that. I sat across from her. I told her part of what Mara said. I did not tell her all. I felt wrong saying too much. I said Mara ran from someone. I said Mara did not remember things right. Lena frowned. She said, Are you sure she is the same woman you knew? My chest hurt when she said it. I felt anger rise. I told her not to talk like that. She said she was not trying to hurt me. She said she felt danger in the house. She said the air felt wrong. She said Mara looked different since she came back. Mara stood in the hall. I did not hear her come. Her eyes were red from crying. She heard everything. She said, I am still me. I am just broken. Her voice was small. She walked to us slow. She said she heard voices in her sleep. She said her memory was fading like smoke in morning light. She said she felt pain at night. She said she saw a door in her dreams. She said someone stood there and said her name. She cried again. I held her. She pressed her face to my chest. She said she did not want to lose her mind. Lena watched her. Her face softened. She said she was sorry. She said she only wanted to help. Mara nodded but looked away. She said she needed rest. She went back to the bedroom. I watched her walk. She looked tired. She looked fragile like thin glass. When she closed the door, Lena touched my arm. She said, "Be careful. You need courage now." Her voice shook. She said I needed to watch Mara. She said danger was near. She said the bruise on Mara's shoulder looked like a warning. I walked her to the door. She hugged me and left. I locked the door behind her. I went to the couch and sat again. My body felt heavy. My mind hurt. I thought about Mara's words. I thought about the bruise. I thought about the fear in her eyes. I thought about the night she died. I thought about the hospital. I thought about the doctor's strange face. I thought about the road she ran. I thought about the voice she heard. I felt cold. I felt alone even with Mara in the next room. I lay on the couch. I closed my eyes. I tried to sleep. My mind did not let me. It ran in circles. I heard Mara cry again in my memory. I heard her say someone chased her. I heard her say she ran from a voice. My head felt full of broken pictures. I held a pillow tight. I tried to breathe slow. At last, sleep came. It was thin and weak. I drifted in and out. I heard sounds in the house. A door moved. A soft step. A whisper. I told myself it was just the night. I told myself it was just fear. I told myself I was safe. Then I heard the real sound. The front door opened. I sat up fast. My heart hit my ribs. I saw Mara in the dark. She stood near the door. She wore her coat. She opened the door slow. I called her name. She did not look back. She stepped outside and walked into the night. I stood there frozen, watching her leave my home before I could even breathe. I felt fear rise like a wave. I ran to the door and looked out. The road was empty. The air was cold. The moon lay weak behind clouds. I saw her walk toward the end of the street. Her steps were slow, like she moved in a dream. I wanted to shout her name again, but my voice died in my throat. I felt a warning inside me, a voice that said, "If you follow now, you may not come back." But I could not let her go alone. I needed truth. I needed her safe. I needed to keep my promise to protect her, even when I did not understand her pain. I grabbed my coat and stepped into the night. The road felt long and dark. My feet hit the cold ground. I heard only my breath and the soft wind. I followed her shape in the distance. She did not look back one time. She walked like someone pulled her with invisible hands. I felt danger around us. I felt eyes on the houses. I felt the silence press on my chest. I whispered, "Mara, please wait." But she kept walking. My fear grew, but I did not stop. I walked into the night after her, not knowing what waited at the end of that road. I feared the truth, yet I feared losing her even more in that silence. Chapter 6. The Road of Secrets. I stepped out into the cold night and saw Mara walking fast down the road. I whispered her name, but she didn't stop. I felt fear rise in my chest, but I still followed her. I didn't shout again. I didn't want her to know I was close. I only listened to her soft steps and watched her small shape move through the fog. The streetlights were weak. The road looked broken. My courage felt thin, but I kept going because I needed the truth. I needed answers after so many lies. "Mara," I said again, but only under my breath. "Please don't go alone." She walked as if she knew every turn. She didn't look back even once. I saw her hands shake when she passed the old shops. I saw her head drop when a car drove by. She knew this road too well. She knew this fear too well. My steps grew faster. I felt the cold cut into my skin. It felt like a warning. When she reached the edge of town, she stopped for a moment. She looked at the sky. She looked tired. She looked like someone who carried too many secrets. Then she walked again, heading toward the old warehouse near the river. My stomach dropped. I hated that place. No windows, no light, only silence and darkness. Mara. Why here? I whispered. She pushed the rusty door open and slipped inside. I swallowed hard and followed her. I kept close to the wall. I hid my breath inside the warehouse. The air smelled like metal and dust. A small light burned in the corner. I saw her standing there. She wasn't alone. Elias stood in front of her. My heart stopped. Mara, he said, his voice low. You shouldn't have come here. I didn't want to, she said. Her voice shook. But you kept sending messages. You kept pushing. I had no choice. You had a choice, he said. You always had a choice. I felt pain in my chest. My fear turned into anger. I moved closer, staying behind a stack of broken crates. The shadows covered me. I saw them clearly. Mara looked scared. Elias looked angry. And something else. Something dark. His eyes looked wrong. I told you to stay quiet, Elias said. I told you to keep the promise. I tried, Mara said. But I can't lie anymore. Daniel deserves the truth. Daniel? Elias laughed softly. He can't save you. He can't even save himself. I clenched my fists. I wanted to jump out, but I held myself back. I needed to hear everything. I needed every word. Please, Mara said. Stop. This is dangerous. Dangerous, Elias stepped closer. You didn't think about danger when you told him pieces of the story. You didn't think about danger when you ran away from me. I ran because you scared me. She whispered. Elias frowned. I scared you, Mara. I helped you. I paid the money. I hid the mistake. I kept your secret. That wasn't help, she said. That was control. He grabbed her arm. She pulled away quickly. That tiny moment broke something inside me. I felt a sharp pain. It felt like betrayal. It felt like my worst fear breathing into life. I stepped forward. Let go of her, I said. Both of them turned. Mara's eyes filled with tears. Elias stared at me with cold surprise. Daniel, Mara whispered. Why did you follow me? How could I stay home? I said. You walked out in the night without a word. You left the door open. There was fear all over your face. How could I stay home? Because I told you to trust me, she said. I tried, I said. But trust doesn't grow in lies. Elias sighed. You shouldn't be here, Daniel. This place is not for you. I don't care, I said. She's my wife. Elias stepped closer. Your wife. You think that word still means something here? Yes, I said. It means everything. He laughed. It was a small, cruel laugh. You have no idea what she did. You have no idea what she knows. I moved closer to Mara. She held her arms around herself. She looked small, broken, scared. I felt pain for her, but I also felt anger. She had kept too many secrets. Mara, I said softly, tell me what's going on. Tell me the truth. I can't, she said. Not here. Not now. You have to. I said no. Elias cut in. She doesn't owe you anything. She owes me honesty, I said. I buried her this morning. I cried for her. I thought she died alone. I thought I failed her. Elias's jaw tightened. Maybe you did. My breath burned in my chest. Mara stepped between us. Please, she said. Stop fighting. You don't understand the danger. What danger? I said. What truth? What road are you walking without me? She shook her head. I can't say. Elias raised a hand. This is bigger than your marriage, Daniel. You need to go home. No, I said. I'm not leaving. You should, he said. I won't. He exhaled. Fine. He stepped close enough that I could smell the alcohol on his breath. His voice dropped to a whisper that cut straight into me. There are things about your wife you could never survive knowing. Those words hit me like a blade. I felt heat rise inside me. My mind spun. My heart raced. All the fear, pain, and anger came together and burst inside me. I punched him. The sound echoed in the warehouse. A deep, heavy sound. Elias fell back, grabbing his jaw. Mara screamed my name, Daniel, but I didn't hear anything after that. My world went red. My hands shook. My breath turned wild. I felt every broken piece of my faith and love hit me at once. Mara grabbed my arm. "Stop," she cried. "Please stop." I looked at her. Her tears fell fast. Her voice cracked. I felt my anger break for one moment. I stepped back. Elias stood up slowly, hate burning in his eyes. "You made a big mistake," he said. "Both of you." Mara pulled me toward the door. "Daniel, we need to go. Please, now." I let her pull me. My head felt heavy. My heart felt broken. The night outside looked colder than before. The road back home felt long, dark, and full of danger. But I knew one thing. Nothing would ever be the same again. Chapter 7. The Doctor's Warning. I pulled Mara out of the warehouse with shaking hands. She cried hard, and every sound cut into me like broken glass. I kept saying I needed the truth, but she kept saying she had no words left. My fear grew with each step on the dark road. I felt danger behind us. I felt danger inside us. When we reached home, she sat on the floor and held her head. I tried to ask again, but she only said she needed silence. I wanted answers, not silence, but I had nothing left to push her. "I saw Elias," I said. "I saw him touch you." "I told him to stop," she whispered. "Please believe me." "I want to believe you," I said. "But you run from me. You hide things. You keep me in fear." "I hide because I am scared," she said. "I hide because you will hate me if I speak." "I will not hate you," I said. "I only need the truth." She looked at me like she wanted to speak, but she stayed quiet. I felt lost. My home did not feel like home. My wife did not feel safe. My heart beat fast. I needed help. I needed truth. I needed someone who knew more than me. I called Dr. Grace. He picked up fast. "Daniel, why are you calling again?" "I saw Mara," I said. "I saw her cry. I saw fear in her eyes." She said nothing. "I need you. I need the truth." He took a long breath. "Not on the phone." "Then where?" I asked. "My office," he said. "Late, after hours." "Come alone." "Why?" I asked. "Because someone is watching," he said. "And because this is not simple." I looked at Mara. She watched me with wide eyes. "I need to go," I told her. She grabbed my sleeve. "Please be careful." "Will you be safe here?" I asked. "I will stay in the bedroom," she said. "I will not leave again." "Promise me," I said. "I promise," she whispered. I left the house with a heavy chest. I felt the cold night on my skin. I drove to the hospital with my hands tight on the wheel. My mind replayed every fear, every warning, every lie. My heart beat louder than the engine. I reached the silent parking lot. I walked down the empty hall. I knocked on Dr. Grace's door. "Come in," he said. The room smelled like old paper and tired breath. He looked worn down, like he carried a weight too heavy for one man. "Tell me," I said. "I need the truth now. No more secrets. No more fear." He closed the door. "Sit." I stayed standing. "Talk." He rubbed his face. "Mara was never dead." My stomach dropped. "Then why did you say she was?" "I did not want to," he said. "I was pushed. By who?" I asked. He looked around the empty room like danger hid in the walls. "By someone powerful. Someone with money. Someone who did not want her to talk." Elias, I said. Dr. Grace did not answer. But his silence was enough. He used you, I said. He made you lie to me. He used fear, the doctor said. He used threats. He said he would destroy my life. He said he would hurt people close to me. I had no courage left that day. I shook my head. Why Mara? Why would he want her gone? That is the hard part, he said. Your wife has something dangerous, some kind of proof, something that links Elias to things he hides. What things? I asked. He leaned closer. Trials, money crimes, blackmail, deals in the dark, things that break lives, things that send men away forever. My breath shook. And Mara, she knows. She may not know everything, he said. But she has something. Maybe a memory. Maybe a letter. Maybe a voice message. I do not know. But Elias thinks she can destroy him. I felt cold. So he wanted her dead. Yes, he said. Or gone. Or quiet. I pressed my hands to my head. She ran from him that night. Yes, he said. And she came here. She was scared. She was shaking. She said a man followed her. She said she had no place to hide. And you let him take her, I said. His eyes filled with pain. I had no power. He had men. They made me sign. They made me say she was gone. I stepped back. You let me bury her. I am sorry, he said. I am so sorry. I felt sick. I felt rage. I felt pain. But most of all, I felt fear. If Elias could do that once, he could do more. What do I do now? I asked. He shook his head. Protect her. Do not let her leave alone. Do not trust anyone close to Elias. He is scared now. Scared men do stupid things. I walked out of the office with weak legs. The hall looked longer than before. Every sound scared me. I kept hearing the words, she was never dead. I felt like my whole life broke apart in one night. I reached the parking lot. I sat in the car. I breathed slow. I needed to go home. I needed to check on Mara. I needed to keep my promise. I started the engine and drove fast, but when I reached the house, something felt wrong. The front door was open. I stepped inside. Mara, are you here? No answer. My heart hit hard. I walked into the living room. The lamp was on. Her shoes were on the floor. Her phone was on the table. And on the wood near the kitchen door. I saw blood. A small smear. Fresh. Red. Real. Mara. I shouted. Nothing. My knees went weak. I touched the blood with shaking fingers. It felt warm. He took her. Elias took her again. This time, I felt something break inside me. I will get you back, I said out loud. I swear on my life, I will not lose you again. I will not let the road end here. My voice shook. My hands shook. My life shook. But my promise did not. I grabbed my phone and called Lena. She answered fast. Daniel, you sound strange. Mara is gone, I said. The door was open. There is blood. What? She shouted. How much blood? It is hers, I said. I think Elias took her. Oh God, Lena said. Call the police. Not yet, I said. I need to move. Daniel, stop, she said. You cannot face him alone. I must, I said. Let me come, she said. No, I said. Stay safe. If I fail, call Noah. You will not fail, she said. I will call you soon, I said. Please be careful, she said. I ended the call. The house felt empty. The air felt heavy. I looked at the blood again and felt rage. I stepped outside and checked the street. It was dark and still. I did not know which road they took, but I knew Elias liked control and shadows. I walked to Mrs. Halden's house. She opened the door slow. Did you see anything? I asked. I heard a door and a car, she said, a few minutes ago. Did you see it? I asked. It looked dark, she said. Maybe black. Maybe blue. Thank you. I said. She touched my arm. Is Mara all right? No, I said. I will pray, she whispered. I ran back home. I checked the road and saw fresh tire marks. Someone left fast. I will find you, Mara, I said. I will not stop. I grabbed my coat and keys and stepped into the night. The night air felt sharp on my face. I walked to my car with slow steps because fear made my legs weak. I kept looking at the road, hoping for a sign, a clue, anything to guide me. I opened the door and sat inside, but I did not start the engine yet. I needed a plan. I needed a path. I needed one clear thought in all the noise inside my head. I took a deep breath. Think, I told myself. Where would he go? I remembered the old stories Elias once told me. Places he liked. Places he used for meetings. One place came back to me fast, a small cabin near the river road. It was quiet, hidden, easy to reach but hard to see from the main street. Maybe there, I said. I started the car and drove slow at first, then faster as courage grew in me. The road was empty. Trees moved in the wind. My hands shook, but my mind stayed firm. I kept seeing Mara's face. I kept hearing her cry. I kept feeling her fear. Each memory pushed me forward. I am coming, I whispered. Hold on. Chapter 8. The Price of the Truth. I called Noah the moment I saw the blood on the floor. My hands shook hard, and my voice broke. Noah, I need help. I need you now. He heard the fear in me. He did not ask for long details. He just said, I'm coming. Stay calm. Do not touch anything. When he reached my house, he walked in fast. He looked at the open door, the broken frame, and the dark smear on the floor. Daniel, this is bad, he said. Where is Mara? I said I did not know. My chest hurt. My legs felt weak. She left a warning, I said. She told me someone would come for her. Noah looked at me and said, let's search the house. Maybe she left something else. We moved through each room. I kept calling her name. Mara, please answer me. My voice echoed through the halls, but there was only silence. I felt fear in my throat. I felt anger too. I felt broken again. Noah checked the bedroom drawers. I checked the closet. When I opened the third drawer, I froze. Noah, I said, look, inside there was a small white envelope with my name on it. I took it out slowly. My fingers shook. I opened it. The smell of paper and dust filled the air. Inside was a letter in Mara's handwriting. I read the first line and felt my heart twist. Daniel, I am sorry. I hid this because I feared your pain. I feared your anger. But you need the truth now. I sat on the bed. My legs could not hold me anymore. Noah stood near me and said, read it. You need to know the truth. I kept reading. Years ago, I was weak. I let Elias close to me. We talked every day. I felt safe with him when I thought you did not see me. It was emotional, not physical, but it was wrong. I broke it off. I blocked him. I told him it had to end. But he did not stop. He watched me. He followed me. He said he loved me more than his own life. My breath left me. I felt heat in my face. I felt my stomach twist. Dear God, I whispered. Noah put his hand on my shoulder. Daniel, keep going. I did. Elias said he would wait forever. He said he would pay any price to have me. I was scared, but I stayed quiet. I did not want to hurt you. But 3 nights before my fake death, he came to me again. He said he was tired of waiting. I ran. I tried to leave town. I never reached the bus station. He found me. I stopped reading. My eyes burned. My hands shook so badly I dropped the letter. Noah picked it up. He read the last lines out loud. If you read this, it means I failed to stay safe. Elias will not stop. Please forgive me. I still love you. I always loved you. Mara. Noah closed the letter. Daniel, this is bigger than I thought. I nodded. I felt sick. I felt rage. My voice cracked when I said, I trusted that man. I trusted him with my home. I trusted him with my life. Noah stood up. We have to find her fast. Elias has a pattern. He hides people. He keeps them close. He stays in control. Let me run a trace on his car. He stepped aside and made a call. His voice was low and sharp. I need a plate checked. Now. Yes, urgent, he paced. I held my head in my hands. I thought of Mara's fear. I thought of her voice when she begged me to trust her. I thought of the bruise on her shoulder. My heart felt like broken glass. I whispered, why did you go to him, Mara? Why did you hide this from me? Noah came back. We got something. His car was seen heading east. There's an old farmhouse past the river road. He used to go there when we were kids. No one lives there now. It's a quiet spot. Too quiet. I felt cold. He took her there. I said. Noah nodded. I think so. I stood up fast. I'm going. Noah grabbed my arm. Daniel, don't be stupid. You need backup. I pulled my arm away. Noah, he has my wife. I can't wait. Every second hurts her. Noah stared at me for a long moment. Then he sighed. Fine. I'll call it in. But I can't stop you. I left the house and got in my car. The night was dark. The road felt long. My mind raced. I replayed every word in Mara's letter. I heard her voice in my head. I felt the old love. I felt the new pain. I gripped the wheel tight. Hold on, Mara, I whispered. I'm coming. When I reached the old river road, the trees looked like black hands in the night. The farmhouse stood far back from the road, half hidden by dead bushes. A single dim light glowed inside. My heart pounded. I stepped out of the car and heard nothing but wind and my own breath. I walked to the house slowly. Each step felt heavy. I reached the door and heard voices inside. One voice was soft and shaking. Mara. The other was low and cold. Elias. My blood boiled. I pressed my ear to the door. Mara said, Please, Elias. Let me go. You don't need this, Elias said. I waited for you. I paid for you. I gave up everything. I won't lose you again. His voice was full of madness. My hands curled into fists. I felt fear and anger. I felt the truth hit me. He did not love her. He wanted to own her. Mara cried. Daniel will come. He always comes for me. Elias laughed. He's too late. He's always too late. That was the moment my fear died. My courage rose like fire. I stepped back from the door. Then I kicked it with all my strength. The wood cracked. The door swung open. Mara gasped when she saw me. Elias turned fast. His eyes burned with rage. I stood in the doorway and said, I'm here, and I'm not too late. Mara reached out her hand. Elias stepped between us. You should have stayed away, he said. You never deserved her. I felt every old wound, every lie, every broken promise. I looked at Mara. Her face was wet with tears. She whispered, Daniel, please be careful. I nodded. My voice was steady when I said, this ends tonight. Elias rushed at me fast. I moved aside, but he grabbed my shirt. We hit the floor hard. My head rang. He pressed his arm on my neck. I pushed back, but his grip was strong. She was mine. He said, "You stole her life." I gasped for air. "She chose me," I said, his face twisted with anger. We stood again. He grabbed a metal lamp. "Put it down," I said. "Don't do this." He swung it. It missed my head. Mara cried, "Stop." Her voice gave me strength. I grabbed his wrist and forced the lamp down. It fell and rolled away. Mara stepped between us. "Elias, enough," she said. "This is wrong." He froze, confused. I pulled her behind me. He looked at us with wild eyes. "If I can't have her, no one will." He rushed forward. I blocked him and pushed him down. He stayed on the floor, breathing hard. I said, "It's over." Sirens grew louder. Noah was coming. Mara held my arm. I held her close. Fear still lived in me, but hope rose too. We were not safe yet, but we were not alone. The truth hurt and broke me, but it also freed me. Now I knew what I had to do. When Noah ran inside, he saw Elias on the floor and moved fast. He checked Mara first. She held my hand and said she was okay, just scared. Noah nodded and said help was coming. I felt my legs shake as the weight of the night fell on me. I looked at Mara and whispered that we would finish this together, no matter how dark the road became. Chapter 9, The Fight That Should Have Killed Me. I stepped into the farmhouse with slow steps, and the air felt heavy the moment it touched my skin. My breath shook inside my chest. My hands felt cold and useless, but I pushed myself forward. I heard Mara cry from the back room, and her voice cut into me like a sharp blade. It was the kind of sound that froze blood, broke bones, and burned hope all at once. I felt fear rise inside me like a dark wave, but I did not stop. I followed the sound down the narrow hallway. The floor creaked under my feet, as if even the house wanted to warn me to turn back. I pushed the door open. Elias stood near her. His shoulders were tight, his jaw set, his eyes bright with something close to madness. Mara sat on the floor with her back against the wall. Her hair was messy, her face pale, and her lips trembled. She looked at me with wide, broken eyes. She looked like someone who had run out of courage, out of hope, out of everything. Elias smiled when he saw me. "Well," he said, "I knew you would come. You always come when she cries." I said, "Move away from her." My voice shook, but I meant every word. I felt fear and rage mix inside me until they tasted the same. My heart hit hard against my ribs. My breath came in short bursts. Mara whispered, "Daniel, please go. Please." Her voice cracked like thin glass. Elias laughed. "Go now. He needs to hear the truth. He needs to understand what she did." I stepped forward. "Elias, I'm not here for your games." "Games?" He looked at me like I was a child. "You think this is a game?" She owed me a life. She owed me the truth. She owed me everything. And you took her. Mara shook her head fast. "Stop lying. Please stop." But Elias moved closer to her. She flinched. That broke something inside me. I rushed toward him. He swung first. His fist hit my face hard. Pain shot across my jaw and down my neck. I fell back into a chair. It broke under me with a loud crack. I pushed myself up and charged at him again. We slammed into the wall. A picture frame fell and shuddered near our feet. I grabbed his shirt and pulled him toward me. He hit me in the ribs. The pain took my breath for a second. I swung back and hit his jaw. His head snapped to the side. He grabbed my neck. His fingers pressed hard. The room spun. I tried to pull his hand away, but he squeezed harder. My lungs burned. My vision blurred around the edges. Mara screamed, "Daniel." Her voice gave me enough strength to move. I pushed my knee into Elias's side. He groaned. His grip loosened. I dragged in air and stumbled back. I said, "You hurt her. You tried to kill her." He wiped blood from his mouth and smiled. "She tried to leave me. She ran to me first, Daniel. She cried in my arms. She begged me to help her. She said you broke her. She said you were weak, blind, small." I shook my head. No, she didn't. She did," he said. "She chose me first." Mara cried, "Elias, stop. Stop lying." I felt something sharp and painful tear inside my chest. Doubt slipped into me like poison. My hands shook. My heart hurt. Elias saw it. He stepped closer. "See? He feels it. He knows. He knows she wanted me." "Shut up," I said, but my voice sounded weak. He charged again. We crashed into a table. It broke. Wood split. Pain shot up my arm. He grabbed a broken table leg and swung it at my head. I ducked. The wood hit the wall and cracked. Splinters flew. One cut my cheek. Warm blood ran down my skin. He swung again. I blocked it. Pain shot up my forearm. I pushed forward and tackled him. We fell to the floor. He clawed at my face. I hit him back. My fists hurt, but I didn't stop. I hit him again and again. "Daniel, stop." Mara screamed. "You will kill him." Elias spat blood and laughed. "Do it," he said. "Show her who you really are. Show her your truth." My vision went red. My hands shook. My breath came in short, wild bursts. I wanted him gone. I wanted the pain gone. I wanted the fear gone. I raised my fist to end it. Mara grabbed my wrist with both hands. "Daniel," she whispered, "don't let him take the last good thing in you." Her voice broke something inside me. My fist stopped in the air. My arm fell to my side. My breath came fast and sharp. My whole body shook. Elias laughed weakly. "Weak," he said. "You're still weak." I stood and stepped back. I felt sick. I felt broken. But I also felt something else. A thin, small piece of myself that Elias could not take. Blue lights flashed through the window. Car doors slammed outside. Noah shouted, "Daniel, step back." Police rushed in. 2 officers grabbed Elias. He tried to fight, but he was done. They held him down. Elias screamed my name as they dragged him out. "She was mine. She was mine." His voice grew smaller as they pulled him down the hallway, out the door, into the cold night. I stood there shaking. My chest hurt. My head throbbed. My hands were covered in blood, his and mine. Mara stepped closer. Her voice trembled. "I'm sorry, Daniel. I'm so sorry for all of this," I said. "We'll talk later." Noah touched my shoulder. "Come on," he said. "Let's get you out." I nodded. Mara took my hand. Her touch felt warm, soft, almost broken. We walked out of the house slowly. The night air hit my face. Police lights flashed across the dark road. My breath shook, but I was still breathing. I lived. I fought. I saw the truth. And the truth almost killed me. But I was still here. Still standing. Still me. Chapter 10. The sunrise after the storm. I sat on the old porch and watched the first light rise over the quiet road. Mara sat beside me, holding a cup in her shaking hands. I felt the cold air move around us and touch my skin, but my mind stayed warm with mixed thoughts. The sunrise looked soft and slow, like it tried to be kind after days of fear and pain. My heart wanted peace, but my memories still carried blood, danger, and broken trust from the long night before. Mara looked at me and spoke in a low voice. "I need to say the truth," she said. "I hid things from you. I broke our promise. I heard you. I know you fear me now." Her voice had no fight left. I heard only regret, and it pulled something inside me. I I looked at her cup. You don't need to fear me, I said. I'm tired, but I'm not angry now. My words felt simple, but they carried a deep weight in my chest. I still felt pain, but I also felt a strange calm, like the road ahead opened for me at last. Mara nodded slowly. I said his name in my sleep, she said. I said it because I was weak. I lost my courage. I thought he could help me when life broke me, but he used me. He used my silence, and he used your trust to hurt you. She looked at the ground. I paid a heavy price for that mistake. I took a slow breath. Why did you come back to me after all this? I asked. Why walk home after you were ready to run? My voice almost cracked, but I held it steady. She wiped tears from her eyes. Because home was never him, she said. It was you. It was your voice calling my name. It was the memory of your hands. I knew the truth, even if I lost my way. She pulled her coat close. But I can't stay. Not like this. Not with the danger still near us. Not with the path still open. I looked down the road. The sunlight spread across the fields, turning everything gold. Where will you go? I asked. I don't know, she said. Maybe a small city. Maybe a quiet town. I need a place with no lies and no shadows. I need to build a new life with my own strength. I need to find some hope again. She paused. I want you to come with me. Will you? Her words hit my heart hard. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to go far away and leave all the danger, fear, and silence behind. But something inside me whispered that I still needed time. I can't go now, I said softly. I need to heal. I need to trust myself again. I need to fix the broken parts of my mind. I need to stand without fear. I need to learn who I am after all this. My voice felt honest, maybe for the first time in years. Mara looked upset, but she nodded. I understand, she said. I hurt you. I can't undo that. I can only give you space and truth. She placed her cup on the step. We sat in silence for a long time. The only sound was the morning wind moving through the trees, and the small birds calling from the roof. The air felt clean. The house felt quiet. My heart felt tired, but not dead. She spoke again. I'm sorry for the affair, she whispered. It was not love. It was fear. I ran from my own pain, and I thought he could guide me, but he only made me smaller. I lost myself, and I almost lost you too. I rubbed my hands together. I needed to hear that, I said. I needed the truth more than anything. I stared ahead. I don't hate you. I just need time. She wiped her face again. I know, she said, and I want you to have it. She looked into the rising sun. You gave me courage once. Maybe I can give you peace now. I looked at her profile in the soft light. She looked tired but real. Not a ghost. Not a lie. Just a person who made mistakes and carried heavy secrets. What will you do first? I asked. She breathed slowly. I will walk, she said. I will follow the road. I will take only what I need. I will try to trust the world again. She smiled a weak, sad smile. And I will pray that you find your own road. I felt tears push into my eyes. Be safe, I said. Please. She stood up. I will try, she said. You must try too. I stood with her. We looked at each other for a long time. No anger, no fear, no lies. Just truth and the long shadow of our past. Thank you for coming back, I said. Even if it hurt. She touched my hand for a brief moment. Thank you for letting me speak, she said. You gave me one last place to be honest. She stepped down onto the road. Her shoes made soft sounds on the gravel. She did not look back. The sunrise touched her hair and turned it bright like fire. My chest felt heavy but open. I watched her move farther away until she became a small shape on the long road. When she reached the turn, she stopped for just a second. Then she kept walking. I looked at the house behind me. I looked at the quiet trees, the empty road, the soft sun. For the first time in a long time, I felt a thin thread of hope inside me. I survived the truth. I whispered, "Now I will survive what comes next." The words felt strong. They felt like a promise. They felt like the first step onto my own road. I stayed on the porch for a long moment. I let the morning fill me. I let the silence settle. I let the light touch the broken parts of me. I felt the weight lift, piece by piece. Then I turned toward the door. I breathed deep. I stepped inside. A new day waited for me. I walked through the quiet room and felt my steps slow. The air was warm, and the light touched every corner gently. I looked at the table and saw the old letter Mara wrote before the danger came. I opened it again and read her shaky words slowly. Every line felt heavy, but each one also gave me a strange kind of strength. I sat down and touched the paper with my hand. The truth hurt, I said to myself, but hiding it hurt more. I folded the letter and placed it near the window. The sun reached it softly, like it tried to wash away the fear that lived in those lines. I walked to the kitchen and poured some water. My hands shook a little, but I let them shake. I did not fight the fear anymore. Fear was a voice, not a master. I knew that now. I stepped back onto the porch and watched the road again. The silence felt good. The world looked simple. I heard birds call to each other. I felt the wind touch my hair. I felt alive in a new way. I thought about the past 2 days. I thought about the blood on the floor. I thought about the danger that came to my home. I thought about the lies, the warning, the broken trust. But I also thought about the courage I found inside myself when I needed it most. I spoke to the empty air. "I will not run from my life," I said. "I will face every truth. I will build something better. I will stand." My voice did not shake. I sat again and looked at the sky. Clouds moved slowly across the blue. They looked like soft doors opening to somewhere wide and calm. I felt something inside me relax for the first time in years. Lena called my phone. I answered and said, "I'm okay." She asked if I needed help. I said, "I need time." She understood. She always did. I told her, "The house feels different now." She said, "It should. You survived something big." I thanked her. She told me to rest. We ended the call quietly with no heavy words. I stayed outside and listened to the world breathe. I thought about the future, not the past. I thought about the road Mara walked. I thought about my own road waiting for me. The morning kept growing. The light grew brighter. My heart felt lighter. My voice felt stronger. I whispered again, "I will survive what comes next," and this time, I believed it. I stepped forward and felt new courage rise inside me.